Welcome to America Today, where we bring you the latest updates and exclusive insights from Washington and beyond. We encourage you to stay with us until the end of this report and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for daily breaking news and in-depth coverage. Now let's get into the story that has the world talking. On Monday, President Donald Trump shocked the international stage by unveiling a sweeping 20-point peace plan aimed at ending the devastating Gaza war. This announcement came during a highly anticipated meeting at the White House where Trump welcomed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in what many analysts are calling a historic moment that could reshape the Middle East. The tone was bold and uncompromising. Trump declared that Hamas faces a clear choice: submit to peace or face consequences. He described his initiative as both an ultimatum and an opportunity, a plan that places responsibility firmly on the shoulders of all parties, but especially on Hamas, which he accused of dragging the region into endless conflict. The 20-point plan, which Trump described as detailed and enforceable, covers security, humanitarian relief, reconstruction, and future governance in Gaza. While many U.S. presidents have attempted peace frameworks in the past, Trump is presenting his version as not just a vision but as an actionable blueprint designed to bring immediate pressure and quick results. In his remarks, Trump said Hamas must decide within weeks whether it wants to join the path of peace or face international isolation and stronger military consequences. The president did not hold back. He emphasized that the time for half measures is over and that his administration is ready to back Israel fully if Hamas rejects the offer. Benjamin Netanyahu stood beside Trump throughout the announcement, looking visibly supportive. The Israeli leader praised Trump's courage and insisted that Israel has always sought peace but could never accept a situation where Hamas continues to fire rockets and dig tunnels while pretending to negotiate. Netanyahu called the plan a turning point and urged the international community to rally behind it. The White House released a summary of the 20 points, which outline both immediate and long-term steps. Among the first points are an immediate ceasefire, the release of Israeli hostages by Hamas, a halt to arms smuggling into Gaza, and a phased lifting of blockades once compliance is verified. Trump also included provisions for billions in humanitarian and reconstruction aid, but with strict oversight to ensure funds are not diverted to terrorism. One of the striking elements of the plan is Trump's insistence on creating a multinational security force to monitor compliance in Gaza, something that would include regional Arab states along with American and European partners. This is designed to reassure Israel while also offering Arab governments a stake in the future of Gaza. Critics, however, are already voicing doubts. Some Palestinian officials claim the plan is too one-sided and places unrealistic demands on Hamas without equally pressuring Israel, but Trump dismissed those criticisms by saying that real peace requires real compromise and that Israel has already shown willingness to make tough choices. The language used by Trump was uncharacteristically blunt. Submit or strike became the headline phrase as he framed Hamas as the main obstacle to peace. The president said that if Hamas refuses to accept the deal, Israel would have not only the right but also full U.S. support to escalate militarily. He hinted at expanded sanctions and even possible action against states that continue to fund Hamas. Netanyahu, for his part, echoed Trump's stance. He said Israel has always been prepared to make peace with any partner willing to recognize its right to exist, but he argued that Hamas has consistently chosen terror over dialogue. The prime minister went further, suggesting that this may be Hamas' last chance to be considered a legitimate political actor in the eyes of the world. Inside the White House, sources described the mood as intense but determined. Trump aides said the plan was months in the making, involving consultations with Egyptian, Qatari, and Saudi officials, all of whom were briefed ahead of the announcement. The administration claims that some Arab states privately expressed support, though few were willing to do so publicly yet. One of the most ambitious points in the plan involves the rebuilding of Gaza. Trump pledged that if Hamas agrees to peace, the United States would lead an international effort to rebuild schools, hospitals, and infrastructure, creating jobs and improving daily life for ordinary Palestinians. He stressed that the people of Gaza have suffered enough and that only peace can unlock true prosperity. The plan also includes political reform. Trump called for new elections in Gaza under international supervision to ensure that governance is democratic, transparent, and free from corruption. He argued that the Palestinian people deserve leaders who put their interests above ideology or violence. Netanyahu welcomed this aspect, noting that Israel has no interest in governing Gaza but needs to see leadership that is stable and peaceful. Reaction in Washington was swift. Some Democrats accused Trump of using the Gaza crisis for political gain, especially with the U.S. election campaign heating up. Yet others quietly admitted that the 20-point plan was far more detailed than previous proposals and could put serious pressure on Hamas to make a decision. International media outlets picked up the story immediately, with headlines describing it as a bold gamble or a potential game changer. Across the Middle East the reaction was mixed. In Cairo, Egyptian officials expressed cautious optimism, saying that anything that stops the bloodshed is worth considering. In Doha, Qatari media outlets highlighted the humanitarian aid component as a potential breakthrough. Meanwhile, in Tehran, Iranian leaders condemned the plan outright, calling it a US-Israeli plot to weaken Palestinian resistance. What makes this plan different from past efforts is Trump's willingness to tie aid and political legitimacy to Hamas compliance. He argued that no group can claim to represent a people while holding them hostage to perpetual war and poverty by creating a direct incentive structure. Trump is betting that the people of Gaza may pressure Hamas from within to accept the deal. Security experts noted that the idea of a multinational monitoring force could be the most controversial element. Some questioned whether Arab nations would risk putting troops or observers in Gaza given the dangers. Others worried that such a force could become a target for extremists. However, Trump officials insisted that details would be worked out with partners and that the U.S. would play a leading role in coordination. Another major component involves the future of Jerusalem. Trump reiterated that Jerusalem remains the capital of Israel, but he suggested that negotiations over East Jerusalem's status could be reopened if Hamas abandons violence. This was a surprising nuance since Trump had previously taken a hard line on the issue, but his aides say it was included to show flexibility and encourage Palestinian buy-in. Throughout his speech, Trump used strong language designed to resonate beyond Washington. He described the conflict as a tragedy that has gone on too long and said that children on both sides deserve a future free of fear and destruction. His appeal was both moral and strategic, casting himself as a peacemaker but also as a defender of American interests. As expected, reactions on social media exploded within hours. Hashtags like Trump Peace Plan, Gaza War, and Submit or Strike began trending across Twitter and other platforms. Supporters praised Trump for finally taking decisive action, while critics warned that the plan would collapse like so many before it. But the sheer scale of online discussion shows that the announcement captured global attention. Observers say the coming weeks will determine whether the plan is viable. If Hamas rejects it, Israel is likely to launch stronger operations with Trump's backing. If Hamas accepts even partially, it could open the door to a major shift in regional dynamics. Either way, the stakes are enormous, not just for Israelis and Palestinians but for U.S. foreign policy and Trump's own legacy. Trump ended his remarks with a direct message to the Palestinian people. He said, "You deserve peace, you deserve prosperity, and you deserve leaders who will choose life over death." His words were met with applause in the room, though their reception in Gaza remains uncertain. Netanyahu also added his message, telling Israelis that the country is united in its pursuit of security and will never compromise on safety. Analysts say that the most important factor may not be the political leaders but the ordinary people in Gaza who have endured years of war, poverty, and displacement. If they see real benefits in Trump's plan, they may pressure Hamas to respond differently this time. Unlike past peace proposals, the Trump framework places a heavy emphasis on grassroots economic recovery tied directly to peace. For now, the world watches and waits. The 20-point plan has been laid out, the ultimatums have been issued, and the leaders have taken their stands. Submit or strike has become the phrase that will echo through diplomatic corridors in the days ahead. The question is how Hamas will answer. If accepted, this could mark the most significant step toward Middle East peace in decades. If rejected, it could unleash a new and possibly more devastating phase of conflict. Whatever the outcome, President Trump has once again thrust himself into the center of world affairs with a boldness that few leaders can match. And that brings us to the end of this in-depth report on President Trump's 20-point peace plan and his stark message to Hamas. We will continue to track reactions from global leaders, regional capitals, and most importantly from the people on the ground in Gaza and Israel. Thank you for staying with us. Remember to subscribe to America Today for more breaking updates, exclusive analysis, and powerful insights. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged with the stories that matter most.